So the thing I really wanted to talk about, because it's very relevant right now, Marvel Infinite is kind of in this state where we don't know what's going on. There was a huge opportunity for them to talk about the game, and they didn't at the Battle of the Stones tournament. While I don't think Marvel Infinite is specifically, like, dead, I don't think it's done by any means. I think that there is a chance that they could be reevaluating stuff, because there was an opportunity recently with the Fox merger. So the thing I want to talk about right now is the fact that Fox is now a part of Marvel, and all the X-Men characters, all that stuff is now in the perfect spot to be in a game like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. But really, if we want to take the grand spectrum of things, Marvel vs. Capcom and, like, the Fox merger is probably, like, the last thing on their minds. Like, and to be brutally honest, with Marvel games and many of the other games that are in Marvel games, which are prominent with X-Men characters and characters that we really want in this game, dude, I don't think that was an issue ever with Marvel Infinite. I don't think there was a specific ban or anything like that affecting Marvel Infinite. I think there was a conscious choice made when this game was first developed to not include X-Men characters and to make them available down the line. Because even we heard the developers say at, like, last PlayStation Experience, not this one but the one before, that the legacy of those characters was not lost. Which makes me think that, oh, they were planning on adding them as DLC down the line, but not in the initial roster for some reason, which ultimately hurt Marvel Infinite very, very, very bad. But now it seems like it's perfect, and, like, X-Men can be added, and I hope that they are taking time to reevaluate the current situation and make it even a greater possibility. But in the long run, I think that all the characters roster in this game was decided back in, like, 2014, 2015, when the development was starting, when the story mode was being made, and all that shit was in the pipeline for a very, very, very long time. But what it does do is open up the possibility for the future. I do think that there is a decent chance that we might be getting some of these characters maybe a bit quicker, and that's my hope, that we're not going to hear anything about Marvel Infinite for the next, like, month or so, maybe month and a half. While Street Fighter V comes out, it takes the big spotlight. That's a brand new big release fighting game that they're going to have. It's practically the true launch of Street Fighter V, and we're still going to wait for the true launch of Marvel Infinite. So, if I was Capcom, I would not want to take all the goddamn thunder away from that, because that's a big deal, man. Street Fighter V is getting the biggest update I have ever seen, going from a core version to, like, a super version. And AE is intense. There's a lot of stuff to do in that game, and they probably don't want to undermine it with another fighting game. So that leaves me to think that Marvel Infinite is probably going to go on hiatus for a little bit. We got the costumes. There is certainly a wave of costumes that has still not been added to the game yet. There is probably more costumes that we're still waiting to eventually show up in this game, because for some characters we got the wave 1 and the wave 2 with, like, Ryu and Hulk and stuff like that, but most characters, their other wave of costumes still isn't available. So there we go. There's probably stuff that was already made. There's a good chance that several DLC characters have already also been heavily in development for quite some time, but they're most likely reevaluating the situation. The best case scenario, in my opinion, is that what's happening right now is they're taking a little bit of hiatus. There's the Christmas break, all this stuff is going to happen, and they're going to figure out how they're going to move forward, because Marvel Infinite's diminishing sales, especially with this version, is going to have an impact on that. Whether or not they're going to continue with their usual 2 years of support is up in the air right now. We really don't know. Like, we heard things directly from guys at Capcom, like, dismissing the game completely. But I don't think this game has an esports, like, future. I really don't. So when it comes to this Fox merger, let's hope that that is having a direct impact on what's going forward, and that maybe they can just expedite those X-Men characters. Just expedite all the cool stuff that we really want to see in the game. Let's not make it the modern age comic book X-Men, whatever the hell's going on. Make it the X-Men, like the stuff we see in Contest of Champions, the stuff we saw in Marvel, like Future Fight, and all these other games that are existing under the Marvel Games umbrella. Give us those characters. It's obvious that that's what this game is missing, and it's obvious that's what people want. There's a pretty great response to Venom. Like, everybody's playing Venom, and it seems like everyone seemed to have purchased this character too. And to be honest, he's the best looking character in the game, and he's fun as hell. If we got more stuff like that it's on the Marvel side, then that'd be great. It is my hope that this game is not dead in the water. It's in its best state right now. Like, with the changes they made to Reality Stone and Dante and the overall balance changes to every character, this game is playing amazing. Like, every opportunity I've had, it's not It's not ridiculously frustrating anymore with certain aspects of the Reality Stone and much less Dante. It's just in a really good state with a lot of fun characters. And to think that it's going to stop there really sucks, because I'm still a firm believer, outside of some people's opinions that have been playing the game competitively and they probably have a lot of gripes with it at a high level. That happens with every single fighting game. You start to hate the game the more you play it. I've been playing this game quite a bit over the past 3 months, and I still love the shit out of it. I still love finding new things, finding all that stuff, and it's my hope that Marvel and Capcom, despite their differences of sales, whatever arguments they might be having internally about whether to keep it going or whatnot, the foundation is insanely good. Like, to me, the foundation is even much better than a game like Street Fighter V, and now Street Fighter V is getting up to 2.5 million sales, which is 500,000 over what they were expecting, you know, a little while ago. And that's really good news for that game, and it's going to get even better with Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. So if this game just got a small chance with small updates that were released periodically, just like SF5, I think future versions can be really good, and hopefully with this Fox merger that actually makes that go forward a little bit. The other thing that I'm convinced that the character roster is the way it is, and it's planned the way it's planned, is because of like one reason. Black Widow, which we thought was like an extra added character that they just sort of snuck into the roster, specifically had lines for every single character in the game. Mega Man calls out Black Widow when the character comes in, and you have to think about voice actors and hiring voice actors. Those lines were recorded several months ago, like many months before the game was released and put into the game. So at that point, they knew that Black Widow was going to be a character in the game. There is a good chance, because we have heard from other announcers in games, like the Smash Brothers guy did like voices for the entire game and callouts for a ton of characters. And he did callouts for Cloud and a bunch of other characters, and a lot of stuff he said that didn't actually make it up into the game. So that's a good thing to realize when you start taking into consideration that everything was probably already pre-canned with the roster and Black Widow being here and stuff like that, which is weird. It's most likely the fact they had the voice cast say the lines of a shit ton of characters. Gambit, Cable, Marrow, Amigo, like, fuck it, man. Like, anything that could have potentially happened was probably in there. So while some people say that there's a good chance that there might not be any characters because they're specifically calling out to only the characters that they were planning for, which weren't X-Men, I don't think that's the case, because if you're a voice actor and you're in the voice room, the director's going to be like, hey, there's a line of like 100 friggin' characters from Capcom and Marvel that could potentially be in the game. This is the point where you say all those lines. So I don't think that's specifically a thing that is hinting to the fact that X-Men can't be in the game or the roster can't be changed. I think it can be changed, but our biggest hope right now is that the game isn't done. I hope, man. This game getting updates would make me very happy. And thinking logically, I would want to be as far away as possible from new announcements and Street Fighter V Arcade Edition and Dragon Ball FighterZ as much as possible. Get the hell away from both of those games. AE is going to take up a good half of January, and then Dragon Ball is going to dominate for 30 to 60 days after, so just stay the fuck away from that game, because Dragon Ball is obviously offering everything that everybody wants and everybody's happy, while Marvel Infinite has to prove itself. And let's hope Capcom and Marvel don't just let this shit die, because I personally think it's too much fun to just let become another forgotten game. Even Cross Tekken got like a huge update down the line and DLC characters for a year, and then a giant update in like 1 year after. Let's not have this be more forgotten from than like Street Fighter Cross Tekken, because that would suck, man. Like, holy shit.